Good evening, everyone. It's Tom Sidney Bushnell, aka Numbers, here from Psych Club, from the Tom Numbers Show and News with Tom Numbers. And I've got a marvelous guest again with me today, which I'm about to introduce. And just a real quick, just at the beginning of the show, a quick piece of housekeeping. People will know that my locals channel, which is my subscription channel, but you get everything on there. You get free content, you get subscription videos. We had an offer which finished yesterday, September 11th. But I've had a chat with locals, and we're going to keep that going because there's still people joining today on it, and we want to get as many people in on the best price as we can because we want the longevity of our subscribers for a long time. So the next few days, that's still going to be going. So just a heads up. And this great show with Ian Clark will go up on there as well. So everyone will be able to see it first on the community, so everyone can see it. We'll also get it up on my YouTube and on Twitter, etc. So everyone can see it because it's going to be really, really good. But people that are considering still the locals and they think that they missed out, you should still get in. And I will give you the cutoff date in the next couple of days on that. But that will be changing. But we've still got it extended. We've got another lifeline for people to get in on it because it's proved very popular in the last few days. So Ian, Mr. Ian Clark, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tom. And how is everything in your world?
Very good. Busy, enjoyable, illuminating, fascinating, contemplative, and busy. Yeah, it's all of the above. So can't complain, but doing really well, thanks. How about you?
Yeah, so we're just always making progress on the thought levels and the
Yeah,
physical improvements, and yeah, just always every day is getting better into the future.
good. I like to hear that. So people that well, some will be new to it, but I'll show this right off the bat. So I actually need to talk to your good ladies, Erin and the rest of the team, because I this is the one since we spoke last time, maybe 6 weeks ago, I've been really enjoying this perfect iodine, and I have it every morning, and I'm coming to the end, so I'm going to need to get another bottle in. But I love this stuff, and the magnesium. I've been using that every morning as well. So I start off my day with these two things. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the right thing to do, but that's what works for me.
Yep.
So I get up, I have a good few squirts of this in the mouth directly. I know people can, rub it on the skin or dilute it, but I find just straight in the mouth. And then iodine, again, a good few pipettes of this. And I love this stuff. I've got also the Oceans Alive and also the Solaris. And I've got to incorporate those more. I've used them, but I don't use them every day, but we can talk about why I should do. And I think there's also the Cumin that you've got. I haven't got one of those, so maybe I'll try one of those in the future. But I've got to say to everybody, my audience, I love these two products. And the links will be below. But if you type in Tom Numbers 20, you'll get your discount. You'll get your 20% off on all the products because it's fantastic. And this is my second bottle of this stuff, so I like it. I like it.
You're cranking it. That's
I am
great.
cranking it, and I do feel. I've got to say, that's what the body's like. If you take something and you feel this kind of reciprocal, positive. I'm trying to think of the word. I want to say something like homeostasis or some. It's just good. It's a good natural biofeedback. It's like, oh, I've taken that. I feel good. And it's effortless. It's like I just keep doing it, and it's just it's part of my routine. So I'm enjoying it, and I feel the benefits of it.
Yeah, that's fueling your system at a really deep level. And the
Yes,
longer you go, the more you get fueled up, and the more it
yes,
cleans yourself out, and all these things. It's like getting your bank account filled up.
yes, yeah. It is. It's pure. It's nutrition. And my body feels it. Like I said to you when we did the first show a few weeks ago, I noticed when I wasn't doing this each day, and I was probably not using enough of this, doing a little squirt on my arm or so, in the crease of the elbow, and I wasn't doing enough. But then since you identify for me that I can use it more, I've done that, and my body kind of just takes it in as a natural craving. It's like, yeah, keep doing it, keep putting it in. So that's why I'm going through this stuff so quick. But it works. I'm feeling the benefits of it, and I feel better on it than I did, say, 6 weeks ago. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it ties right into brain power. It does so many different things for you. One thing to do with these, you can try starting tonight, is put 30 sprays into your system through your skin. And what it does it allows your whole muscular system to relax
Yeah.
and take the pressure off your brain, because 80% of your central nervous system is attached to your muscles.
Okay.
And when you're in any kind of stress at all, or you're carrying anything from the past with you, your muscles can feel a little bit tense.
Yes.
And that doesn't allow you to go into the deeper sleep that you should go into.
Okay.
So when you do that, you'll literally, within about a minute and a half, you'll feel the body just relax, and you lay down, and then your whole mind just like goes into a nice restful state in a delta type sleep. So yeah, give that a shot and see what happens.
That would be amazing. Yeah. So I take it internally, mouth, because I find that just works for me. But this time, do it additional on the skin as well, because the skin gets a big absorptive organ, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're also putting it geographically right where your muscles are. And
Okay.
that's where people feel the great benefit, because the magnesium relaxes your muscles where calcium contracts them.
Yeah.
You need both, but people get overcalcified, and then they get tenser and tenser. And that's why when people get older, they start walking around like a statue, and they start to go over, and they're walking stiff and they're sore because they're so low in magnesium.
Okay.
So this is an instant use of a fuel that your body is using constantly. So the more brain power you have, the more stress you're under, the more activity you have, the more magnesium you burn. And for women, it's specifically helpful as well, because of their endocrine system, and their hormonal system is always going through its cycle. And women just use more magnesium than men.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. And a lot of my audience are women. Maybe it's because, they get the gift of seeing me and Ian. Seeing Ian occasionally, but two handsome brutes on the show. So I also did this before, but I've pulled them up again. So iodine in numbers is 56. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. But the interesting thing about iodine, 56, iodine is light, 56, and healing is also 56. And magnesium is 102, which is gravity, is also dimension, but you add them together is 158. And I keep talking to my audience about the thing of next year's election with November. There's the phrase, remember, the 5th of November. But remember is 158, which comes to, top trumps, but it also comes to iodine plus magnesium. And activation is 114, which is trump card. Anyway, people always tune in because they want to get my numbers on what we're doing, but there's always a correlation. And activation is 114, which is frequency. And this is producing good frequencies, good energies throughout our body. So, but yeah, let's continue to dive into more on the why and the amazing benefits of the product. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And just before we do, one question: what is the number 19?
Well, very good. So 19. Can I ask why you ask?
Well, I had a whole bunch of 19 show up in the last little while, just a steady flow of them for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Well, it's very apt for these products because 19, if you spell the word and, that's 19. But and is an anagram of DNA. So DNA is 19. If you spell the word 19, it's 86. 86 is pyramid. I've got one just over here. I don't know if people can see it. I've got my Shanghai Organite pyramid.
Oh yeah. I got one of those.
Yeah. But 86 is Highlander as well, from the great film about the Scottish time traveler, MacLeod. But yeah, 19 is DNA. So I think that, you're activating effectively at the cellular level. You're improving the DNA through these products. So it's interesting you've got the 19s popping up. But 19 is comes to but it comes to DNA, which is at the center of everything for us. So it's also a power number. I think it's a power number 1 talks about that being a power number 19. But yeah, 19 DNA.
Yeah, that's synchronistic. So that's cool.
Yeah, it is. If anyone was going to get stuff on 19 or DNA, it'd be you, Ian. So yeah.
Yeah, lovely. So yeah, we just keep learning. I think one of the biggest questions I always like to ask myself and others is, how much do we really care about keeping our body alive? Right. So I can ask you and the audience, how much do you care about keeping your body alive? What does it actually mean to you?
It's a
And
good
that's what,
question, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because if your body doesn't stay alive, that means a lot.
That means you're out. That means you're
That's right.
game over, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
interesting. It's a really interesting and direct and powerful question, because definitely in the last few months, people on my channel will know that I've been trying out different things to help improve keeping my body alive. And I've had my fair share of restrictions and aches and things like that. But I've got to say, the things that I and trying and things that I promote and share with my audience and get great guests on the show like yourself, Ian, I am feeling a difference, and I'm looking forward to seeing where I'll be in 6 months, a year, 18 months down the line with it, because I do feel it's become more of a priority in my life. And just, you can go and hit the gym, and I've gone through cycles of doing that. I love doing that, but actually just kind of purifying, cleansing, decongesting, as you say, the body through actual proper usable science, practical science is a real benefit. And I am feeling it. I have more clarity. I mean, I have clear thoughts anyway, but I have a certain je ne sais quoi at the moment with certain things, with thoughts and clarity, and just the overall feeling is definitely on the upward trend for sure. So I think it's an important question. It's one I guess I've asked myself in a maybe not as directly as that, but I have. And now that you've put that in, I'll be continuing to ask that question. And it's definitely something for people back home that are watching this to ask themselves. Ask yourselves, how important is it to keep yourself alive, to keep your body alive? Yeah.
That's right. And the other question I like to ask is, can a healthy body die?
That's a very good question. I don't think it can.
It can't, unless it has a traumatic accident. Now, 5% of the population, apparently, we're told, dies of accident. But that means you have a 95% chance of never dying of accident. So the odds are very much in your favor to never have an accident and die. So once you learn how to support your body's ability to remain healthy, then what?
Immortality.
Well,
eternal life.
as long as you can maintain that, because you have a lot of stuff coming at you right now. We all have a lot of stuff coming at us that is trying to cause our body to die.
Yes.
And we see the numbers are very clear, because around 2017, I started to just notice a trend, and I didn't want to really think about it too much, because these are things that you don't really want to necessarily think about. But I had to face the facts that the people in the health space, the experts, the sages, the gurus, whatever you want to call them, are all dying on time.
Yes.
So the average age expectancy for a non-health conscious person is 74 years old in Europe, UK, North America, Australia, South America. I'm not sure on Asia. Asia, different places have different lengths of life. But nonetheless, let's just take that as a benchmark.
Yeah.
And then in North America, health conscious people, health gurus, experts, and so on, they have an average life expectancy of 81. They get about 7 years. That's nothing. It's ridiculous, actually. It's such a tiny amount better. And if you go to the blue zones, everybody talks about the blue zones.
What are the blue zones?
What's that? Blue zones. There's like 8 different places in the world are considered blue zones. And that's where they have more people living to 100, they talk about. There's a documentary on it. But the average life expectancy of a blue zone inhabitant is 83. That's it.
And what is the blue zone? Is it by the ocean? What is a blue zone?
No, it's just in an area. Yeah, a lot of them are by the ocean, but it's in an area that they just see. This is like there's a place in Greece and a place in Italy and a place in Europe and or rather in Asia, different areas where for whatever reason these people just live longer. So they go and they ask them questions. What do you do for life? Well, they move a lot. They eat a lot of their own food that they grow. They are involved in fun activities with their family. They are engaged in the interesting things of the world. They don't lose interest in life, that kind of thing.
So they get another 2 years on top of the gurus.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just naturally. That's without even really being health conscious per se.
Yeah.
But that, again, that's not impressive, because in the ancient scriptures, people were recorded to live up to 960 years.
Yeah. Days of Noah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Methuselah.
Yeah.
And people lived, many people lived 900, 800, 700. But there was a reason for that. And so I knew that when I saw everybody going down that track and I was doing the same things that everybody else was doing, only better than them, I was still only going to be able to expect the same results, because I knew that there was things we didn't know, like, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that opened me up to the idea that, oh, well, of course there is knowledge that would come to us that would allow our bodies to be healthy and remain healthy. It's like if you started, do you play the piano at all?
No, but I would. I spoke to someone just the other day about I'd like to play an instrument. I thought I did for about 3 weeks. I tried the organ, which is the electronic keyboard, when I was a kid. But no, I don't. But I should. So maybe knowing that I can live to 900, I might take it up. Yeah.
Well, just think about if you started taking piano lessons today.
Yes.
You'd be kind of amateur, and then you become intermediate, then you become like a concert pianist eventually, because you practice, you get better. The older you get, the better you get at whatever you do. If you choose a career or a skill, like your numbers, you got better and better and better and better and better at numbers. You're getting better all the time. You always will get better at numbers because you're immersed in it. So the same actual applies to your physical being. The older you get, the better you should become, because you're learning more about the truth. You're learning more of things that you should do to support your body's ability to remain healthy. And you find out the things that you didn't realize were causing your body to lose its health. So you get rid of them. You add in the things that produce health, and then you get better and better. So the key performance indicator is that you're getting better every day. And you're not only getting better, you're feeling better. You're more mobile, more agile, more flexible. You become smarter. You get better brain power. You get better digestion, better circulation, better hormonal balances with your endocrine system, better in every way.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. So that takes us away from the belief, which is false, that the older you get, the worse you should become. But the reason we actually believe that is because when we're little kids and we see our grandparents get old and die, that validated something for us. Then we become adults and we watch our parents get old and die. Then we're like, okay, I guess it's my turn now, is it? Well, no, it's only your turn if you do what they did. Or you do what everybody else around you. So the average, we've accepted this as normal.
Yeah.
Like, why would we accept that?
Yeah. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It really does. Yeah, because it's like when you're told in school, I don't know if we said this last time, but when you're told in school that the scientists discovered that we're only using 10% of our brain.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's a lie. That's the biggest lie ever. You actually have 100% use of your brain. But if you are told and believe and speak to yourself, yeah, I guess I've only got 10% use of my brain, you will go to 10%.
Yes.
Yep.
Speak and it shall happen. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Any wish is your command. Ask the genie. Yeah.
Right. So we have 100% use of our brain for sure. And these elements, these things that clean out all the garbage that diminishes brain power, gives us deeper access to 100% as well. Not only do we have 100% use, we access it. And you require fuel, just like anything requires fuel that's living.
Yes.
Your oxygen, your nutrients, the movement, the energy, the ATP energy, the Krebs cycle. There's all these things that are known, but they keep going lower and lower. And if people don't find out soon enough, they get to a threshold where they can't come back. And that's when they die. When you find out well before the threshold, you don't go over the threshold.
Yeah. You can reverse it. You can change it.
You reverse it and then maintain it.
Yes.
So if I right now
change,
currently
maintain. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. So when I was 46, I had about an 84-year-old health that was going to terminate me in 3 years. And today I'm at 65 and I've got a 35-year-old biological health that I've learned now how to keep it there. It is very simple. It's ultra affordable because instead of spending all the money that people spend more and more and more as they get older and older, whether it's pharmaceuticals or nutraceuticals or supplements or whatever you want to call them, that cost goes up and up until they die. And if you take a look at the expenses are just horrendous. If you have super wealthy people in the natural health space, I know people who spend $6,000 to $7,000 a month because they make a lot of money. So they have all kinds of tests, they do all kinds of things, but they die right on time too. So that's not right. You should it should cost you less and less the more you know. So you stop spending money where you shouldn't, you start spending it where you should, and there's a transfer of expense. Like right now, because of what I've learned, I only eat about 25% of the amount of food as I used to eat.
I was going to say that to you. That's what I've noticed. I mean, I've noticed cravings and things seem to go. Yeah, I've noticed that. I'm not, as you were just describing about the transfer. I was like, actually, I've noticed there's things I'm not really eating now. You know, I'm still eating, and I enjoy. You know, I'm not religious with it, but I've noticed there's things that I've kind of cut out, kind of naturally, and just the actual amount. I really don't. I mean, I have a meal in the evening, and I have my breakfast of this and other things to kind of get me going, and water. And I don't really feel cravings, to be fair. If I want to have something, I have something, but it's a little, snack or whatever. But I don't. I've noticed that it's a lot's diminished. Amazingly, yeah.
And so we eat as much as we want, and when we are plugged up, and we're filling up from all the air we're breathing, from all the nanoparticulate stuff, all the receptor sites get plugged up. When they get unplugged, all of a sudden you need way less stuff because you need less food because I don't have to eat much food now. I eat the best food on earth, but I eat a very small amount of it, and I'm always satisfied. I get hungry and I eat the small amount. I'm feeling great. I don't lose weight. I don't gain weight. Everything is found its place where my body's happy. And the less food you have to eat and process, the less stress you're putting on your system.
I mean, I'm noticing it. I mean, I'm still, in the direction of getting to my, my best place, but I'm noticing it. And things are just naturally, it's kind of effortless really as well. It's not a real it's not a willpower thing, which is great because that's what you usually find with certain stuff, but just kind of in the habit. And then you've had it a few times, like, oh yeah, I want to do that. I know there's a good feeling from it. And combination of the things that I'm using, it's like, it's just naturally pushing me in the right direction. And it's kind of effortless, which is really amazing. Yeah.
Well, it makes it so that being healthy becomes even less than free. Well, there's nothing free. But if you don't have the knowledge and you have to do a whole bunch of things, or you end up having to have surgeries or having, dealing with disease issues or trying to stay alive, it can become excessively expensive. But that means you're on the wrong track.
Yes.
And people drink alcohol, they drink coffee, they drink these things that are known to harm the body because it's causing your body to produce energy it really doesn't have. And they don't do it because they're bad people. They do it because they want to feel good, and it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
But when you find out that there's things that make you feel way better that don't have a price attached to them, they have a reward attached, then wow, okay, that totally changed everything. Now I'm in a really good mood all the time. I love having conversations. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic about being alive. And I don't need any of that other stuff. So I drink as much alcohol as I want. And I don't want to drink any. So it's not like I'm trying not to drink alcohol. I drink as much as I want. I do as much cocaine as I want, which is zero.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of the way that you approach it from a logical, common sense, natural standpoint. And when you tap in, which you're doing, and which I've been doing now for a while, and I learned what those things are. Now I share it with you, then you do them, then you find out that to be true for you. And you become your own authority.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yeah. That's powerful. You said about reversing. So the word reverse is 92, which actually comes from numbers. And so I find that in all areas of my, by doing the numbers, it helps wind the clock back in so many ways. But when you said about reverse, which these products do for you, reverse is 92, numbers is 92. So it's like, yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you think about yourself as a valuable being on this earth. You're super valuable. Mm-hmm. And you're an exponentially level more valuable than you were 10 years ago. Yes. So if you look at your life as in 10-year chunks, then you've got, every 10 years, you're going to become that much more valuable because you've got more wisdom, more experience. You've simplified things a lot more. You're much more clear in your delivery. You can help way more people. Mm-hmm. So you are actually, you should by rights be alive for a very, very long time. If you have a 900-year-old teaching a 700-year-old, teaching a 500-year-old, teaching a 300, and so on, right? Mm-hmm. Look at us. How many people do you know even live till 100?
Yeah, it's true.
And then they leave, and then we can't even talk to them anymore. I want to go talk to my mom. She died in her 100th year because she didn't have the knowledge, but she still made it to 100 because of her genetics. But I want to go and I want to talk to her because I had a whole bunch of questions I wanted to ask her about things that she knew, but I can't. She's not here. Had she known this and kept on living for a super long time, then you could have that opportunity to tap in. Those are the people in your life who you're the closest to. Mm. And you only know a few people in your life when you think about it, right? So you want to bring value to them. You want to be able to get value from the people, from their experience and wisdom. So it's the paradox of people are at the very most valuable time of their life, they're taken out.
Yes. Yeah. Can you go into more detail for us, Ian, on the perfect iodine, and we'll do the same with magnesium and the other products, but sure. Can you go into some more detail on why these are so beneficial, what they will do for the viewers, and the question of why and how, I guess, why and how, and maybe there's a what, you might want to add some other descriptive words in there, but why and how is perfect iodine so powerful and beneficial?
Right. Well, let's start with the why. So your body requires, every cell in your body requires a tiny amount of iodine to be fueled every single day. Okay. And people don't know that. They don't know. They didn't know. They thought iodine was to put on a cut.
Yeah.
And so iodine is a fuel. It is a must-have foundational fuel. You're not going to get it out of the food. You're going to get a certain amount out of different fish like cod and haddock. You're going to be able to get from seaweed because it has iodide in it. So iodide, when you consume that, it goes to your thyroid. Your thyroid uses the iodide as a fuel and produces T3, T4 iodine hormones. So instead of going to the iodide, go to the iodine, because when the iodine comes in and it reacts with things in your body that shouldn't be there, well, it's also fueling every cell. It converts to pure iodide. And the iodide is picked up in your bloodstream and goes to your thyroid, which does T3, T4 hormones, which powers your immune system to keep yourself very, very healthy, so you don't have your downtime from being sick. And it's brain power. They equate iodide with your brain IQ. So it's the same thing. So that this is something that you just add to your life as a must-have, and you make sure that you keep yourself fueled. When you don't, you're missing out on a major fuel component. That's the major why. And the how is simply having small amounts on a regular basis. Now that iodine, that perfect iodine bottle, that's a 500 ml, that is a very significant amount of substance in there, but it's the purest on earth. Yeah. Because all other products are either potassium iodide, which you don't want the potassium form of it. There's all kinds of other iodine products in the market that have multiple other things, and they're not balanced correctly. So that is the purest form of I2 molecular iodine. It is so pure that it has to pass the USP pharmaceutical grade standards in order to be classified in that category. And that's what your body wants, that purity. It doesn't want all that other crap that it doesn't need.
Yeah.
And so when you put it in, it just goes, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I like that. And it rewards you by feeling better, having more energy. It works with your reproductive system. It allows men to produce proper amounts of testosterone. You can actually put that on the scrotum. And I know this is a little bit detailed, but you can spray it on the scrotum and it instantly goes into the testicles, supporting testosterone production.
Wow.
And the scrotum is a very spongy skin that absorbs everything you put on it. It'll go right into your bloodstream right there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And women have similar skin in the similar area that it goes into there too, but it keeps the endocrine system ultra healthy. Women get fibroid cysts, endometriosis because of a lack of iodine. That's why that happens. And that's been a scientifically proven fact. So for men and women to have good, healthy reproductive organs, you've got to keep fueled on this stuff. And it's also good for skin. So we had a situation where a man had an industrial accident where his hands were crushed in a press.
Yeah.
And, it split the skin open, like it tore the skin on all his fingers. And he was supposed to get them sewn up. And he was told, no, just soak it, like spray the iodine on there. Within 2 weeks, you couldn't tell that he'd been injured in 2 weeks.
Wow. And so the iodine is you would spray iodine on a cut or something like that.
Yeah, well, you spray it on the skin though, because if you missed it on your face, you just close your eyes so it doesn't go in your eyes, and you missed it at about if you put say 2/3 water and 1/3 iodine in there, that knocks it down in strength, which is what you want. You could even go 4 parts water, one part iodine. You can drop it down even more. It just depends on how much you want to use it. And you missed it on your face, it helps the skin to get youthful, because it's a material the body uses to heal the skin. And it does wonderful things for gut health. It goes after fungal infections, yeast overgrowths, heavy metals. It is a marvelous thing for having a good, powerful gut health.
Well, I'm going to start using the bottle then as well. I spray the nether regions, and ladies do the same. So the thing is with this, I've got such a taste for this now. I haven't done so, but I could probably drink half a bottle of that a day if I wanted to. That's what it feels like,
Right, but it's just overload. Your body doesn't need that much fuel. It wants a little bit all the time. Okay. So what I like to do with that is
I enjoy it in the morning. I do a few squirts, and I'm like, I'm really used to it now. Like because at first I was diluting it with the water, and you said, well, you can take an upgrade on it. So I've done that, but it's very welcoming. It's very just like, I really like this stuff. Yeah.
That's refreshing, right? It gives a nice refreshment.
Yeah, it is. It's really, that's it. It's refreshing. It's like, oh, wow. And like I say, I take these two, the first thing in the morning, these two things, these are the first that go in, and then I'll do, structured water and all the rest. But those two, boom, straight in. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. So that's the big why behind the iodine. Of course, there are many other things that we could talk about, but I don't want to go too scientific. It's just a matter of letting your body.
This is for others might ask the same thing. So when you talked about iodide and iodine, so you get iodide in fish. What is iodide? Is that just like an oxygenated version, or is it a plus on the molecule of iodine? I don't know what iodide is as opposed to iodine, without going too technical.
Yeah, well, iodide is the stable form of the fuel that your thyroid uses. Your thyroid doesn't use iodine. People a lot of time will call iodide iodine. They'll literally put that on the bottle. It'll be potassium iodide in the supplement, and they'll say iodine. Well, iodine goes off into the atmosphere. If you left the cap open for 2 days, you'll have pure medical grade water in there with no iodine. That's how tiny those molecules are. That's the key to that product. Is the form. It's a Dalton molecule. It's like a gas molecule. So when you put it in, it goes in low dose but high volume.
So is it actually iodide direct in the distilled water, or is
it's iodine? That's real iodine.
That is iodine. Okay, yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah.
But then the body changes it into the iodide to use in the thyroid. Is that right?
Yeah, when it reacts with different bacterials or heavy metals or fungus or the stuff you're breathing is where it reacts with, that it cleans it out, and then it converts over to iodide. So yeah, it's just a really simple scientific conversion that happens, and your body loves it all the way across the board. So it's a constant fuel. It's a fuel that you always need. People have hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. They have both. And that's because they haven't got the right amount of iodine. The body's either overreacting or going to sleep. And so this wakes it up or brings it back into equilibrium. And there's a lot of people very freaked out about iodine and iodide because if they have hyperthyroidism, they're told they can't touch iodine. But that actually deprives them from getting to the place where they go into what you called homeostasis. And I call it homeodynamics, because homeostasis is static and stops.
Yeah.
But your body is in a constant flow, just like everything is pulsing, everything is moving. So you want homeodynamics, where you're just constantly in that right flow.
Okay. So just to go on the iodine and iodide. So the iodide will, if there's heavy metals or fungal, it will do its job and clean that out. Is there ever a case where the body's clean, it's been on the process for a while, and they don't have those things, but the iodine itself will still go in and power the cells and do a positive job anyway? Is there's a point in the body where it just stays as iodine as opposed to going into iodide to do a cleanup job?
Yeah. Well, the iodine, we call it in Canada iodine, but so I'm kind of like on that one. But it goes in as a fuel.
Okay.
The fuel for your whole body. And it's the iodine that reacts with the heavy metals, not the iodide won't do anything there. The iodide only goes to the thyroid. The body can't use iodide except for in the thyroid. So it's just a matter of keeping your body fueled. The longer you go, the less you need.
Okay.
Right? Because when you first start getting into it, there's so much contamination in the system from what you've been breathing that it's got a lot of work to do. So it gets all, once you, like you said, once you're really cleaned out, you've got the C minerals producing the clean blood, you've got the iodine reacting with all the stuff and getting it out of the system, you got the iodide fueling your thyroid, and the thyroid produces T3, T4 iodine hormones, which is cool. So it converts it back from the iodide into iodine, which goes in to power your immune system. But your immune system is really a decongestion system.
Yes.
Because people get filled up and they get sick, and then their body reacts. And then the mucous membranes have to, eliminate a lot of it. That's why people are hacking up a whole bunch of stuff all the time when they're sick.
Right. So magnesium, what and how and why magnesium?
So that particular form is a unique one. It's the only one on Earth in the marketplace at all that is in that form. Most spray-on magnesiums are made from magnesium chloride crystals, and companies just melt it into water, put it into a spray bottle, and sell it to you. That one is from only one company in Europe that actually produces the purest form of magnesium chloride hexahydrate. It's a seawater extract. It has to come from seawater, not from some mining operation where most of it comes from. And it has 6 water molecules attached to every magnesium chloride molecule in that bottle. Though that structures it. And that's why when you put ours on your skin, it goes in right away very smoothly and very comfortably. Most transdermal magnesium products in the market are uncomfortable, itchy, scratchy. You got to put it on, rub it in, and wash it off. And it has some effect, but it doesn't even come close to the penetration that product has. So by spraying it in your mouth how strong it is, right?
Yeah.
And people think they're just spraying water on their skin because they can't taste it with their skin.
Yeah.
But they put it in their mouth, they think, oh, ours is just really weak. No, ours is full strength.
Yeah.
But because of the purity of the molecule that we use for raw material to make the product, plus we spend 11 hours making the product. When you put the crystals into the medical grade water that we manufacture, it instantly dissolves. Then we put it through 11 hours of a special process that dynamizes the minerals into the fluid so that when it touches your body, it goes in and it holds in the tissue. Because you don't need a lot of magnesium in your body, but you need enough, like a bank account, full all the time. So you're always drawing on it because you're always using magnesium when you're sleeping or awake or anytime.
Yeah.
So even like when you sleep, you've got to use magnesium because you're repairing DNA, you're digesting food, you're restoring the body, you're recharging it. And the magnesium is called the master mineral because it ties into your electrical system. Your body runs on electrons. It runs on biophotons as well. So the magnesium allows the system to be energized for like your autonomic nervous system. If you're in, say, if during the day you got to get a bunch of stuff done, so you have to go into sympathetic stress. You got to, hey, let's get going, right? Let's get up
Yep.
and get out of here. Let's get this done. You're in sympathetic stress to complete the task. You immediately want to go back into parasympathetic, but people can't because they don't have enough magnesium. They can't relax. And then they start to get burned out. The more you get burned out, the more you get stressed out. And people get locked into sympathetic stress. That's why they can't get the deeper sleeps because they're just wound up too tight. And so this is going to go in and marry up with the calcium. So when you have a sore joint or sore muscles, they're overcalcified because you haven't got enough magnesium. When you don't have enough magnesium, the calcium releases out of your body from the bones. It gets trapped in joints and muscles. That makes them stiff and sore. So when you put it in there, it marries up with them, takes the calcium back where it's supposed to go in the body, and then it fuels you as well. Like every thought requires magnesium as a catalyst. And when they did the research, there was a 25-year research done on magnesium in the body. It ties to more than 330 biochemical reactions that your body needs the magnesium for. So if you didn't have magnesium at all in your body, you're dead. So people always have some, but they don't have enough. So this is a way to guarantee you're getting it in geographically. And like older people get restless leg because their muscles are tensed up and they're too calcified. They put magnesium on their legs and they go to sleep and they don't have restless leg. There's another thing that happens. People become anxious because they're getting locked into sympathetic stress. They don't even know why they're anxious. They get anxiety attacks. They get panic attacks. I've seen people over the years because we've had this in the market since 2007.
Yeah.
And within just a short period of time, I started getting feedback from people who are on anxiety medication. And they eventually didn't need it anymore. They stopped the medication. Like, what's going on? I said, well, all that happened is as you started to get your reserves of magnesium up, that released it because your low reserves caused anxiety. That's it. You weren't fueled properly. Your body was stressed out. So this is one of those things that is an absolute must-have. It's another fuel, and people can afford it when they finally realize, oh, I don't have to do all this other stuff. All their other costs in life, their productivity goes up, their value goes up. They produce more revenue in their life because they're energized and they're happy. And you got to have the money production because money is not, you don't want to be in love with money because that makes people really bad, or act badly. But you want to have money to be able to use as a fuel. It's like your car. If you don't have fuel in your car, I don't care how cool a car you got, you're not going anywhere. And if you have a battery powered car, you're harming the world more because battery powered cars burn rubber off the tires way faster and they cause more pollution than anything because it's the rubber dust that's causing the big problem.
So the electric cars are producing more in terms of the dust because they break more. Why is that?
Well, the only thing that's really polluting the world right now from driving cars and trucks around, the most pollution comes from the rubber dust that wears off the tires. There's 10 billion pounds of rubber dust from just normal vehicles in the United States every year.
So why is there more on electric compared to regular?
Because they're heavier. The batteries are heavy.
Oh,
and they're also they have electric motors right at the wheels, which makes them more powerful. So people like to take off faster, which burns rubber. It doesn't lay rubber on the ground or make smoke, but like all the electric cars that everyone knows, their tires wear out way faster. There's some cars that wear out 5 times faster, and Tesla had to recommend that they had to get these special Michelin tires that had these special flow so that they didn't wear out as fast. You got to pay way more for the tire for that particular model, and then it wears out faster than anything. It's the dumbest thing. So heavy cars aren't cool. And like all these heavy luxury cars, they're burning. It's not the CO2. or the so-called fossil fuels. There's no such thing as a fossil fuel. They wanted to lie to us and tell us that the oil and gas came from dinosaurs. Come on, guys. Oil and gas is a renewable resource that there's massive abundance on this earth. There is so much you could never run out. I worked in the oil field for 17 years, and they found a deposit in the 90s, the early 90s. They found a deposit off the coast of Brazil that made the Persian Gulf look like less. There was more in the Persian Gulf was loaded with oil. It had a bigger oil deposit off there, and they never tapped it because it's a supply and demand. They got to control the world with fuel.
Yeah.
So that's a little indication. And when you have an efficient, good car, it burns that gas clean. It's not emitting a bunch of terrible stuff out there. And the CO2 is a total fiasco.
Interesting. So magnesium. Interesting. You said it's the master mineral. So master
mineral.
So master is 76 in numbers, which is a magic wand. It's contact. It's Thomas. And mineral is 72, which is first, which is money. But you add them together is 148, which is Donald J. Trump, time traveler, simple gematria, Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. Yeah, and that's master mineral. Very good, very good.
Cool.
So that's very cool. Take us into. So I've tried these, but I haven't got into the habit of doing them regularly. Take us into Oceans Alive, if you would, please, Ian.
Right. So that is 30% concentrated, fresh harvested marine phytoplankton. And marine phytoplankton has every nutritional molecule known to all historical data. These are 2 heirloom strains. They're produced in a photobioreactor on land. They originated from the ocean, but you can't harvest them from the ocean because they're microscopic, number one. Number two, there are thousands of different strains of marine phytoplankton. So what the study did is it determined what are the strains that are the perfect match for the human nutritional profile and or animals. There are other strains that they use for aquaculture. There are other strains they use for biofuels. So this one has the 2 specific strains, and it has 70% of that bottle is 100 times strength sea mineral liquid. So that's what your body uses to produce clean blood. So you get the full nutrition factor, which empowers the brain, your whole system that requires food for fuel. That's the cleanest burning fuel on Earth, is the marine phytoplankton. And then the sea minerals are what you're going to produce the clean blood with. So you get the best of both worlds with that one. And when I first found out about it, I was told, oh, just take a dropper full. Well, no, you can take a lot more. I didn't know that you need 5 grams of sea mineral in 1 liter of water to have the right formula to produce clean blood. So we came out with another product called Trace, which is the 100 times strength sea mineral liquid that you can take more of, because the phytoplankton in that bottle, just say, for example, you're working on a project and you're using a lot of brain power throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I've seen clients of ours do this, and people locally have come back and told me, who I even know well, and they said they got 6 months, they got 2 years of work done in 6 months, because throughout the day, when they were running out of brain power, because they're straining so much on the work they're doing, they would just take more and they'd be right back online again. So that is a very, very powerful fuel for your system.
Do you have a bottle of can you show us, Trace? Do you have one there?
No, I don't have one on my desk here. It's an 8-ounce bottle.
Okay. I need to try that. I didn't know about that. I need to get on there.
Yeah, sorry. No, I got to get you some of the Trace.
Yeah.
And it also ties in. We're bringing out a very special formula of unrefined sea salt that you can make your own electrolytic fluid. Like in this glass is this formula in here right now.
The sea salt, the big tub.
Yeah. Did I send you a tub?
Yeah, let me go and grab it because I've got it over here. I'll bring it over so you can show it. I can show it to everyone. So this is the tub of the sea salt.
Yeah, we're currently just working on the labels, and that it's always a challenge to get things prepared and be able to ship to customers who are looking for it.
Yeah.
Every new product's the same thing.
Activated salt, is this the one?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. So that
Yeah,
one.
we actually have 3,000 tubs of that just finishing production right now.
Okay.
And we're calling it Fifth Element. Those labels there we had made locally because
Yeah.
we were going to call it activated salt. And then once we figured out the formula, which is that salt, and we were thinking about it, it's actually the fifth element. So that's what we're calling it, Fifth Element.
Huh. So the fifth element being what?
It's the fifth element that you need as a fuel for your body to produce the five.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Got it.
and that's easier to transport because you can make. All you got to do is get clean water to start with, and it
Yeah.
takes just a few minutes. You put the salt into the water, shake it up, or put it in a blender or whatever it is you do, and it
Yeah.
melts in the water. That's good. That's stable. It'll never come out of solution again. And I
Really?
always.
So it doesn't. So once it's dissolved, that's it. It doesn't.
That's right.
Okay.
It'll
Okay.
never come out. 5 grams per liter is all you need. That's the formula. And then it's like
Very-
1 liter per 50 pounds of body weight for a year. And then you drop down to just 2 liters a day. Yeah, activated salt. Now that you have to actually call in. We don't even have it on the website yet. And we do have it available. People have to call in.
Okay. And they'll still, if they call in and quote Tom Numbers 20, they'll get their 20% off on the activated salt as well. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah, customer
Excellent.
service will make sure they take care of that.
Brilliant. So the ocean's alive. I'm going to start using this more now because I know more about why I should be using it. And then Trace, you're going to send me some Trace
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
That's right. Yeah. Now the ocean's
so-
alive. You want to put it in juice or
Yeah.
water.
Okay.
A lot of people squirt it right in their mouth. They seem to love it. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily. I've done that many, many times when it's
Yeah.
convenient, but it's
Yeah.
super strong like that.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. It is strong. I think I might get a taste for that. But maybe I'll just start adding to the water as well and just get used to it. One question about water. So I have a piece of kit that adds hydrogen to water. I have a structured bottle, but I've got a shungite plate which helps structure it as well, and the other one with the shaker, I've just got to get a repair on it. But in terms of the quality of water, but I just have it out of the tap. So is there something I can do that will purify it, make it better? I do add a little bit of. I probably need to start adding the salt, but I do have ones that is like what do you call it, an electrolyte with different, salts and minerals in to give it that consistency. But what would you suggest in terms of water? Because we can structure it, that's helping, but in terms of a way of just making it better, cleaner for us to start off with.
Well, the sea minerals automatically structure it. So what I start out with is the purest water I can get, which is.
So this structures it or the trace?
Oh yeah, that structures it immediately. As soon as you put any sea minerals in water, it immediately structures it for your body's compatibility.
Really?
Because reverse osmosis or distilled water loses its structure completely. I never drink those, but I use those as a base, either reverse osmosis or distilled, because the sea minerals, I don't touch water without sea minerals in it. It always has to be in. Yeah.
Okay. And is adding hydrogen to the water? I don't know if you've used that. Does that help in the cause, or does that reverse what you're talking about?
Well, I've done lots of hydrogen water. I bought Brown's gas machines where I like breathing hydrogen gas more than drinking it.
Okay.
Because drinking it is just a tiny amount and it disperses and it comes out of the water before you drink it. It does a bunch of things. It's better than nothing. But the hydrogen, it has to go into pure water. I've never tried putting hydrogen into salt water. You could give that a try. Then it's fine. But every time you drink clean water, you're diluting your own precious electrolytes every single time. And you don't want to be losing electrolytes. And the electrolytes that you find in the market, it's trending right now. People they're selling $100 million worth of electrolytes. They do not supply the raw material in its correct form, because you want to build the clean blood. You want to manufacture clean blood all day. Yeah. So you're required to do that, because that clean blood then cleans your whole system out continuously. Okay.
So by adding Oceans Alive and getting the sea minerals in to the water, whether it's from the tap or elsewhere, that's structuring it, and that's taking away that pure element, which would just kind of suck all your minerals out anyway. that's keeping that, so it's a healthy form of drinking the water.
Yeah, and I stay away from tap water because I can't validate what's in there. You're getting the municipal water from the water treatment plants. I have no idea, and you want to have the memory needs to be removed from the water because of all the pharmaceutical residues and the things that they just can't clean out in the municipal systems.
So what would you reckon? I know it might be slightly off of what we're with the product, but any suggestions on, because I mean, I used to buy bottled water, but then it's in a plastic container, and
terrible.
Yeah, all that stuff. It tastes horrible. So the water here, I'm used to it. It doesn't taste bad particularly, but I want to optimize it. What any suggestions on what to do with water and what others can do back at home when they're watching? How to make it the best type of water possible?
Well, for a very low investment, you can go down to a water supply store and you can buy a little reverse osmosis unit that goes under your sink. And you can make as much reverse osmosis for a whole year as you want. And then that's your base. Yeah, that's the most affordable.
Okay, so that cleans it, that gets rid of the memory of it, but then you need to make sure you add the proper minerals so it's not just, pure water, depleting you of your natural base of minerals and electrolytes.
Exactly.
That'd be right. Okay.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay. Okay. Solaris. So this one, in terms of taste, I like just taking things under the tongue. That is a strong taste. I'm sure that people just take it back. But tell us about why and how Solaris. What does that do for us?
Right. So Solaris does multiple functions. The number one internally, you put like 15 drops in a glass of water and shoot it back. If you don't like the taste of it because it has a bit of a strong taste because it's clove, rosemary, and thyme. But that's a very specific formula that is completely water soluble instantaneously. It's a nanoparticle. It goes in and it gets rid of heavy metals. It goes after fungal infections, and it just simply supports your blood system to get cleaned up a lot faster.
Okay.
Internally, that allows your cell function to be optimized. So people, love it internally. Now, for dental, if you just take that dropper and only put one drop on your toothpaste, on your toothbrush, and you could even just use it as, like, I put it in it's a bit of a pain. I get a little spray bottle, I put some clean water in, and I put like 30 drops of the Solaris in there. I spray that on my teeth and brush my teeth. That gets rid of all the plaque problems. It cleans your teeth out completely. It cleans your mouth really clean. You need a very tiny amount of it. When you put it straight under your tongue, it kind of numbs your mouth a bit, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little uncomfortable for some people, but some people do it no problem.
Yeah.
And then you can spray it on your skin, or if people have a thing that I can't mention, but it's something that shows up on the skin that could actually kill you, so you get the idea of what it might be. You put that straight on there. It makes it all nasty and bloody and wet for a little while, for about a week. And then it goes through a drying out process. And then after a couple of weeks, you can peel it right off your skin without any scarring.
Wow.
Yeah. And
so
we also did a test. It's very potent. We did a short clinical trial. There were 4 clinical trials that were done in Kenya, because in Kenya, a lot of people die from malaria. It's a big killer down there. And I was told, I didn't know if it would work. That's why we had to do the test. But I was told that there was a test done that it gets rid of malaria and dengue fever. So I thought, okay, fine. A friend of mine wanted to find out. I didn't have time myself. I couldn't travel down there. But he had connections in there. So they they got a certificate from the government to do the clinical.
Yeah.
They got a doctor licensed up in that. They did 904 people over a 4-month period. 4 separate clinical trials. They got a glass of water, and they had to buy all these test kits too, which was a pain. They were $1 a kit. And every time somebody went there, they had to be tested, prove, okay, you got malaria. And then they put 2 drops only in a glass of water. That one dose of 2 drops knocked out 45% of the malaria cases. The next 50% to have 2 doses of 2 drops. So every 12 hours. So the first 45% tested negative on the malaria in 12 hours. The next, so a whole 95% were with 2 doses altogether. Yeah. And then the last 5% took either 3, 4, or 5 doses of 2 drops each. And it knocked it out 100% for every one of them. And when that happened, the people then approached the government and said, hey, this is our test. This is what we validated. So the Kenyan government took an interest to a certain level. They took forever because there's so much red tape. But they got a hold of us. Who are you? Where are you? What's your papers? What's the proof? What's in here? And we went through all that, answered all the questions. And they told us back in 2022, this took all the way from 2020 to 2022 to get that finished. And they said, okay, we're going to start ordering around 30,000 bottles a month. Can you produce? We're like, for sure, we can produce as much as you need.
Yeah.
And then they kept saying, okay, the purchase order will come next week. Next week. It never came. That purchase order has not come to this day. I was reaching out every couple of months saying, hey, what's happening? Are you guys going to do this? And they, oh, yeah. But they never did. And I don't think they ever will.
Huh.
So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So the fifth element, so the four elements, would they be these four things that we've shown in regards to the element?
Well, not really. I didn't think about calling our. Yeah,
okay.
No, I didn't.
I was just wondering if
it's earth, air, fire, wind.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering if it's like your core, 4 or 5 products on the market. I haven't tried this yet. I'll have to. The cumin seed. Is it cumin seed?
Yeah, black cumin seed oil.
Tell us about the why and how with that. Why is that so important?
Well, the thing that caught my attention with that many years ago, this went back to 2013.
Yes.
I was told that in the Arabian countries, they've had it around for a long time, and just the seeds alone, they said had a huge benefit. But when you press the seeds and get the oil in concentrated form out of it, and just take a small amount, they said it cures everything except for death. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a pretty broad statement, and I don't think that's true. But I knew it must have some kind of major health benefit. So I found out that if you take it internally, it works as a whole body tonic to support good gut health, to help cleanse the organs. It helps to clean the liver. It has, all these wonderful attributes because it's a delivery system. Okay. And it's like kind of a medicinal thing.
Yeah.
But it's not pharmaceutical level, obviously. But people would put it in their mouth, chew it for a minute, gargle it in the back of their throat. And I've done this, of course, I do this kind of thing. Yeah. And it would help with their dental as well. It was a major dental upgrade. Then they swallow it with a little glass of water, and you always do it after you've had a meal, when you have food in your stomach. When it goes into an empty stomach, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But then it just goes through your system and does all these wonderful things, and people improve, their overall body wellness. But then they put it on the outside of the skin. So it works to help skin look youthful and young. It helps with hair growth. It is you don't even hardly need any of the stuff. Like if you're going to put it in your skin, you just get your hands wet, shake the water off, put 2 drops of black cumin seed oil in your hands, smooth it across the wet hand, and massage it into your face before you go to bed at night. And it gives your skin such an upgrade because it's a moisturizer, but it also goes and cleans up stuff because it's a solvent. It goes and gets the dirt out of the pores, and it does wonderful things for the skin. Okay. So it's just this all around kind of, it's like a panacea almost.
Yeah.
And so we've been producing that since 2013, and everyone who gets it loves it. Some people don't like the taste to start with because it's sort of a strong, spicy taste. Yeah. And in the back of the throat, it's sort of annoying. But after a couple of weeks, that goes away because it cleans all the junk out in the back of the throat. It also helps with the sinuses because the aromatic part of the oil goes up, because you can smell it. And it helps with sinus health. So yes, you would never put it straight in the sinuses. Okay. But just the aroma of it helps that way. But yeah, it's something that's one of our most popular products.
Talking of teeth, you've mentioned with a couple of the products with the Solaris and the black cumin seed oil. Have you come across in your studies, research, maybe examples of some of the I'm fascinated with the thing of teeth being able to regrow. I don't know if that's something you've come across in your work or with the product through any knowledge of that. I've seen 1 or 2 places where people seem to claim it. I think there was something with the Spooky 2 products with Scalar. I'm just wondering because you've done extensive research in many things. Have you ever come across anything that can help? Because we're all living beings, aren't we? Anything that helps with the teeth regrowing at all?
Now, I have run into people, not very many, but a few over the years. One of the early on, I ran into people that absolutely said that the body has seeds inside the jaw that will grow because you grow your baby teeth, they go out, then you grow your adult teeth, and then there's another set behind there. I have
Yes.
never seen anyone be able to regrow a tooth yet, although they made claims they did. I've never seen it visibly with my eyes.
Okay.
And so I don't know the answer to that. I can't know. I mean, I would never make any claim that Solaris or Black Cumin, but what it does is it helps you keep the teeth you have. It
Okay.
solidifies the relationship between the tooth and the jaw because things like gingivitis and different periodontal problems happen because the accumulation of bacteria between the gum and the tooth, and then the pockets get opened, and then they
Yeah.
get more, and that causes plaque, and that causes all the problems, especially like the cavities because the acid in the mouth after you eat, it
Yeah.
does damage. So this helps to repair that, keeps the enamel healthy, so it's going to maintain the teeth you have. But when a person has had a root canal or they've had an extraction, loss of
Yeah.
tooth, I have yet to ever witness anybody regrowing a tooth.
Okay. In terms of well, actually, I'll just a commentary. It's interesting that the wisdom teeth. I thought this for a while, but it's like the name is on the box. But it's amazing how they encourage people to get rid of them. But I'm sure we can figure out
Right.
why that is. Any other key products that we haven't mentioned yet from your range, Ian, that people should be aware of, and how and why they're important?
Right. There are a couple. There's one called Perfect Immune that is a
Perfect
geranium.
immune. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a geranium root extract from a very special strain of geranium from South Africa. It grows up in the mountains wild. And once
Yes.
they found out they could encourage the growth, they pull the plant out and chop off a root. And then they take another root and cut it in 5 pieces and replant it. And that makes the plant grow again. And the extract from that, what it does when it goes into your system, it allows your mucous membranes to flow properly. Because when the body gets congested, the mucous membranes can plug up and then they don't work right and they don't detox properly. So this one
Okay.
goes in and allows that to really open up. And your body is full of mucous membranes. It's not just in the sinus and the throat and the lungs and the bronchioles and the eyes. I mean, mucous membranes are throughout your entire internal system. So it just optimizes that. And that's a plant that's on the earth as a thing to help clean that. And there was a whole book written in the early 1900s on this particular extract of the geranium plant, which we
Yeah.
call Perfect Immune. And it was the death of 150,000 people. I have actually a copy of the book because the UK, or at the time the England government, would not allow that to be broadcast into the public, even though they had the whole clinical trial on it, proving how
Ah,
well it worked to help people get away from all these flu problems. So that's
right.
one. I think it's a
Okay.
fantastic one for wintertime, especially when people are, more subject to that kind of thing.
Yes.
And then we have another one called Perfect Uric. Now, uric acid is a major problem when it doesn't get flushed out properly. Everybody has uric acid as a functional thing in your body with your
Yeah.
urinary system, right? But when you eat high purine foods,
Yeah.
your body extracts the purines out of the food, and then that purines turns into uric acid. And that's
You
where
get things
arthritis,
like gout.
gout, arthritis,
Yeah.
also kidney function because it's harming the kidneys. So
Yeah.
in the background is harming the kidneys, which you don't want. So what the perfect uric does is it blocks the enzyme that would extract the purines out of the food. So you can
Okay.
eat the purine foods and not have to worry about it. And then what you can also do is just get some good clean baking soda. You can buy it at any store.
Yeah.
And you put 1 teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water about that much before you go to bed at night.
Yeah.
You don't do it, during a meal or anything because that neutralizes stomach acid. But you put it in there, and that helps your body to flush out the excess uric acid. And then you just keep the perfect uric on hand, and once a day you take it to make sure that enzyme doesn't activate to pull the purines up.
Okay. So perfect
Perfect.
uric.
Yeah.
URIC. Perfect uric. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, uric purines.
Yeah, and there are lots of other things we could talk about. We have like 15 products. We don't have like 100, like a bunch of companies, because I want the less is better, and you want
Yeah,
to have the specific ones. But yeah, it's
yeah,
just a time thing. But like, we covered a lot of ground today with quite a bit, and sometimes people get a little bit overwhelmed on information overload. But yeah,
yeah.
that kind of covers it.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Ian. It's always a pleasure to talk, and I look forward to our next conversation because I'll have more questions. I'll have more water under the bridge in terms of use of the products, and I definitely need to. I'll incorporate now. Now I understand more about Solaris and Ocean Alive. I'll incorporate those. Ocean's actually, interesting enough, is 57, which is Tesla,
Hmm.
which is human. So it's actually
Oh,
saying human alive, which is great. And then the black cumin seed oil and the trace and what was the other one? The perfect. I've got them here. The perfect. Where are we?
immune.
The
Yeah,
perfect
perfect.
immune and the perfect uric. I probably need to get my hands on those as well and try them. And yeah, that would be amazing. But I really love it. You know what I've been doing? I've been using this. I'm going to start putting this in the water, but I've been using it just on my meals as the salt condiment because it's very
That's
good.
good stuff, huh? It tastes
Good
good.
stuff. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually put it as well in kind of a shake in the morning as well, but it's just really, I really enjoy that, but I'll start incorporating that into the water. So, excellent. Well, the links will be below, and
Mhm.
specifically and exclusively for my viewers, when you go to the checkout on any of the products, if you put in Tom Numbers 20, you'll get 20% off your order as well. And tell us a little bit about the UK, Ian, because I know you were opening that up. Is that fully functional in terms of getting easy delivery to the UK? Is that kind of full
It
and running
is.
or about to come? Okay.
It is definitely on,
Okay.
and the prices are including the tax, whereas in other countries where we sell, the tax is added on, but the tax is included in it.
That's the VAT
And so
here. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, and yeah, we do have fulfillment, so the shipping cost is right in line now. Instead of
Okay.
being ridiculous trying to ship from Canada, it was awful.
Yeah. Yeah. And in terms of delivery around the world, are you pretty much in? Can you deliver now fairly easily to most countries?
There's some countries that are just challenging because
Okay.
of government restrictions, and some countries
Okay.
just steal the product for, I guess, to
Okay.
the client.
Okay.
But
I
there's,
got
it's Australia, US, Canada, UK,
Yep.
and that's for sure, cool there.
Okay. Well, that's most of my audience. Most of my audience are America, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and then parts of Europe. That's the kind of majority of the audience. So,
Yeah,
um,
cool.
brilliant. Well, thanks, Ian. Any closing remarks?
Well, I think just everybody should just try to build your enthusiasm more. Work
Yeah.
on your self-esteem, speak well about yourself, and
Yeah.
just get it rolling and take more responsibility for everything you're doing.
Excellent. That's the key. Become
Yeah,
authorities of our own lives. I like
yeah,
that.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks, Ian. God bless you. I'll see you soon. I'll
yeah,
speak to the
yeah.
girls and we'll speak soon. Thanks a lot.
Bless you, Tom. Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ian. Bye bye.